Okay, hello, good evening. Hello, Joel. There's only you here just yet. Anyway, good evening. Happy Tuesday. So we are going to a new chapter today. Okay, we are learning a new chapter today. So just a minute, let me adjust my camera. All right, so as usual, I am not at my home, so my internet will be slightly laggy today. For now, it's still okay. Hopefully, it stays okay. All right, so anyway, we are in chapter 4. We are going into chapter 4. I already posted this in Google Classroom. All right, the soft copy and the hard copy. I'm not sure whether the delivery reaches you yet. Not sure on that. Okay, hopefully it does. Okay, if haven't, then that means you still have to wait, I don't know, a few more weeks, 1 or 2 more weeks, I guess. But by now it should be already on your hand lah. Okay, should be lah. Anyway, so this is our chapter 4, respiration. All right, so as I said, this chapter is very related to your previous chapter. If you still remember, unit 3. Okay, unit 3, we learn about our transport system. Okay, our transport system, or I call it the blood circulatory system. All right, so we learn about our heart, our blood vessel, our blood. Okay, and we know that their job is to carry oxygen to your body, okay, to around your body, to carry glucose to around your body, and to take all the waste product away, okay, your carbon dioxide, your water, and so on. So today we are learning respiration, so something very related to blood circulatory system. Okay, in fact, they work together. Your heart and your lungs, they are next to each other for a reason, because they work together. Okay, they work together. They kind of help each other out. So to put it simply, respiration, okay, your respiratory system, that's your lungs, they will do the exchange gas, okay, gaseous exchange. They will throw out carbon dioxide from your nose. They will take in oxygen from your nose. So think of it this way, your lungs' job is to get oxygen, okay? Your blood's job is to distribute the oxygen. One is like a manufacturer, one is like the seller, the distributor. Okay, if you get what I'm trying to say here. All right, so let's go to 4.1, our human respiratory system. Okay, so every cell in our body carries out respiration to produce energy. Okay, do not be confused by respiration here. When I say respiration, respiration is a chemical reaction. Okay, chemical reaction. Okay, what I'm doing now, what we are doing now, taking in air, breathing out air, this is not respiration. This is actually called physical breathing. A lot of people think, oh, this is respiration. This is physical respiration. When we talk about real respiration, cellular respiration, it is a chemical reaction. Okay, so every cell in your body will do this. They will use glucose and oxygen. Okay, and then they do respiration. They will produce carbon dioxide, water, and energy. This is how we power our body. This is how you are alive. We need energy to stay alive. Even when you are sleeping, your heart still needs energy to pump. Your lungs still need energy to work. Your brain still needs energy to think. Okay, that's why you dream at night. So your body doesn't just die and go to sleep. Okay, it just slows down. So whenever you are alive, okay, unless you die, okay, as long as you're alive, you are doing respiration. Okay, you are doing respiration. You are taking glucose and oxygen. You are producing carbon dioxide, water, and energy. This is like your car. Can you see? Your car does the same thing. It's just that your car doesn't use glucose. Your car uses petrol. You put petrol in your car, right? Okay, your car uses petrol and oxygen to produce carbon dioxide, water, and energy. Same thing, same exact thing. So your car uses this process to produce energy. You uses this process to produce energy. It's just that your fuel It's different from your car's fuel. You cannot drink petrol. You are using glucose. Your car is using petrol. So different fuel, but the concept is the same. Is to produce energy. All right. So glucose is obtained by breaking down complex carbohydrate and absorbing it through the small intestine in the digestive system. Okay, we have learned this in Unit 2, right? Okay, when you eat rice, rice is starch. It is complex, very complicated. So we use our enzyme. We use our enzyme and digestive system. We chop it into glucose, which is the smallest unit. You cannot chop it smaller anymore. We absorb it, we got glucose. Okay, so now where oxygen comes from? Now we got our glucose settled already. So where do we get oxygen from? Oxygen is obtained, or carbon dioxide is eliminated from the body via our respiratory system. This is where your respiratory system comes in. Your lungs, how they come in, how they supply you with oxygen. All right, so the lungs are the main organ of the respiratory system. Okay, your lungs. Okay, you have two sides. You have your right lung and your left lung. And of course, our respiratory system carries out breathing to move oxygen in and carbon dioxide out from our lungs. So your lungs' job is to take. Okay, now you see, your blood has carbon dioxide. It has no oxygen. Okay, that is what we call your deoxygenated blood. Remember? Okay, you have something called deoxygenated blood. Okay, that means your blood has no oxygen. Okay, your blood has no oxygen. It has a lot of carbon dioxide. So what does your what does your lung need to do now? Your lungs will take carbon dioxide from your body. Okay, from your deoxygenated blood, they take carbon dioxide. They will throw it out from our nose. Okay, we breathe it out. And oxygen, since they don't have it, right? The oxygenated blood don't have oxygen, right? So they will take oxygen from the air and put it into our blood. So this is what we call gaseous exchange. We will talk about that. Okay, so as you can see, your respiratory system has two jobs to do. Okay, take oxygen and throw carbon dioxide. All right, so this is what we call breathing. Okay, later I'll talk about breathing and respiration. They are two different things. All right, so in the lungs, oxygen moves from air into the blood. Carbon dioxide moves from blood into the air. We will talk about this in the next part, which is here. I show you first lah. All right, so I think you learned this already last chapter. Blood that is without oxygen, deoxygenated blood, they are blue. Okay, they're not actually blue, they are dark red, but we just for simple illustration, we just put it blue. And oxygenated blood, they are red. So when they come into your lungs, okay, carbon dioxide, you see, they will throw out. Okay, from your blood to air. This is air here. What is this? This is your alveolus. This is part of your lungs. This is part of your lungs. So this is full of air. Okay, so your carbon dioxide will go from blood into the air, and your oxygen will go from the air into your blood. So can you see this is a cross like that? Okay, they happen at the same time. It's like a cross. So this is called gaseous exchange. Okay, let's go back up there. Okay, so oxygen moves from air into the blood. Okay, like I said, air into blood just now. Carbon dioxide moves from blood into the air. This is called gaseous exchange. Okay, I already highlighted this for you. Gaseous exchange. That means oxygen and carbon dioxide, they move opposite. Okay, they move in opposite direction. So this is called gaseous exchange. I'm changing gas. Okay, changing gas. So these gases are carried around our body using the circulatory system to distribute around. So you learn this in Unit 3 lah. Right, you carry oxygen in your blood. Okay, your blood is inside your blood vessel, which is your pipe, and your heart, when it pumps, the blood goes around your body and gives oxygen to any cells that need it. So can you see how they all tie together now? This is why your heart and your lungs they, like I said, they work together. If something were to go wrong about them, they go wrong together. Okay, for example, if you smoke, okay, smoking, as you know, is very bad for the lungs. You're basically throwing rubbish into your lungs. Okay, you're throwing, just in case you don't know, your cigarette has more than 5,000 chemicals in them. Okay, yes, you heard that right, 5,000. Every stick of cigarette, every cigarette has more than 5,000 types of chemicals in them. So basically, when you are smoking, you are throwing 5,000 types of chemicals into your lungs. How can they not be dirty? Okay, how can they not be polluted? So this is why smokers' lungs, they are black. All right. So when you are smoking, okay, so when you're smoking, not only you're spoiling your lungs, your respiratory system, you are also spoiling your blood, which is your blood circulatory system. This is why when you smoke, not only you will get lung diseases, you will also get heart diseases. For example, if you smoke, you will get bronchitis. Okay. Okay, what is bronchitis? If I have the chance, I'll tell you. Okay, you get lung cancer. That's the most common lung disease to get. Okay, not common lah, but if you smoke long enough, you will get lung cancer. Okay, not only that, you can also get heart disease like high blood pressure, hardening of your blood vessel, reduce oxygen in your blood, many. So this is why I said when you smoke, you are spoiling your lungs and your heart together. So this is why I said lungs and heart, they both go hand in hand. You won't have someone that has a very healthy lungs, okay, that has very healthy lungs and with a very not well-to-do heart. No, usually they work together. Okay, unless it's some kind of very special disease, then that's a different situation. But usually, if you are healthy, okay, you are healthy both of them. So for example, like I said just now, if you smoke, when you spoil your lungs, you spoil your heart. But on the other hand, if you go for exercise, okay, if you strengthen your lungs, you improve your stamina, you also improve your heart. All right, so like I told you last chapter, how do you take care of your heart? Okay, you don't smoke, okay, you manage your stress, you eat healthily, you rest enough. All those points they are not only for your heart, they are also for your lungs. So they are equally important because, like I said, they work together. So anyway, let's look at breathing and respiration. Okay, a lot of people get confused here. What's the difference between breathing and respiration? Okay, so, or I like to put it, this is called physical respiration, and this is called cellular respiration. Do not get confused. What you are doing with your nose right now, this is breathing. Okay, physical respiration. This is a physical process. You know what's physical? We are doing it physically. Okay, like for example, I punch your face. That's a physical thing to do. Okay, physical. But what your cells are doing now, okay, how many cells you have? Okay, let's say now all your brain cells are, okay, you're listening, you're attending my class now. You are using your brain to think, hopefully, okay, you're using your brain to think right now. So when you're using your brain cells, they will do respiration, they will do cellular respiration to produce energy so that they can work. Okay, every cell will do this to give themselves energy. So they are very different, very different. One is a physical thing and one is a chemical thing. So as you can see here, breathing or physical respiration, it is gaseous exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. It's just your lung throwing out carbon dioxide, taking in oxygen. Okay, like I said, like physical breathing. This one. Okay, as you can see, it's a physical process. No chemistry is involved here. Okay, so this is, okay, imagine this is like melting of ice. When you melt your ice, it's still H2O, right? Ice is H2O. When it melts, it becomes water. Water is still H2O. So any chemical change there? No, it's a physical process. Nothing new is formed. No chemistry took place. But you see, cellular respiration, okay, cellular respiration, okay, or I just call it respiration, they are breaking down or oxidation of glucose to produce energy. Now, I am breaking down glucose by using chemical ways. This is a chemical reaction to give you energy. Same thing happens in your car. When you burn petrol, it's a chemical reaction, right? This is why you form new substance. So this is a chemical process. Okay, so you see, you use something, it turns into something else. Okay, like I said just now, ice is H2O. After you melt ice, it becomes water. Water is H2O. But you see, glucose and oxygen is glucose and oxygen. Carbon dioxide and water is carbon dioxide and water. They are both very different. So when you have new substance forming, it is a chemical process. Like when you burn a piece of paper, okay, let's say you burn a piece of paper, can you reverse that thing? No. After you burn the paper, it becomes ash. Is the ash same as the paper? No, ash is black and the paper is white because something happened, a chemical process happened. So that is a chemical process. Respiration is a chemical process. It happens everywhere in the body, whereas breathing only happens in the lungs. That is a physical process. You're doing it physically. All right? Okay. Or there's another simple way to put it. Let's say, okay, I know this is a very shitty example. Okay, let's say now you killed someone. Okay, let's say you accidentally killed someone. There's a body there. I think I told you this before, right? Okay, fine. Okay, fine, whatever. If you accidentally killed someone, there's a body there. There are two ways to handle this body. If you don't want the police to find you, okay? Why am I teaching you this? Okay, so how do you handle the body? There's a physical way and there's a chemical way. Okay, physical way, very simple. You just put the body through a meat grinder. You know what's a meat grinder? You know how they make burger? Okay, they will take any meat, they will put it through the meat grinder. It's basically a machine that chops meat into tiny bits, okay, into a pulp of meat. So that's a meat grinder. So basically, to get rid of a dead body using physical method is by putting it through a meat grinder. There's no chemical process. You're just grinding it into small bits. But if you want to handle this body in a more sophisticated and scientific way, you do a chemical method. How do you do that? You might use acid to melt the body. Okay, you put that body into a big bathtub of acid. Hopefully, this thing will disintegrate and turns into a pool of blood and flesh. Okay, yeah, it's pretty disgusting if you imagine. So, like I said, there are very different ways. Okay, physical is by putting it through the meat grinder using physical method. Nothing changed. It's just that you are changing the size. You're using a physical method. But chemical process, you use acid. You melt this thing into something else, something that is not recognizable anymore. Okay, because chemically it changes. So that's the difference between physical and chemical. So coming back to here, breathing, when you're doing it like right now, this is a physical process. What you're doing in your cells, okay, they are chemical processes. Very, very different. Okay, very, very different. So anyway, so once you understand this, okay, this is the basic concept. So now you know we need oxygen. We need to throw out carbon dioxide. We don't need carbon dioxide. Okay, so how do we do that? We do that using our lungs. Okay, so let's look at our lungs. Okay, so these parts you have to memorize them. Okay, you have to memorize them. So, okay, where shall we start? Okay, let's start from here. Okay, sorry, I just had dinner, so my body is trying to digest the dinner, so I'm starting to yawn already. Okay, but hey, it's okay. I'm not sleepy. It's just that I'm a bit tired. Okay, anyway, so your air will first enter through your nose. Okay, will enter through your nose. Or I like to call it nostril. Okay, nostril. Nostril is your hole here, two holes here. Okay, here's the thing. Should you breathe using your nose or using your mouth? It actually doesn't make too much of a difference. If you want to breathe using your mouth, it's okay. But the preferred way would be using your nose. Why? Because inside your nose, you have hair. Okay, all these hair, they act like a filter. Okay, I'm sure you know this already. So you have filters here. So all these nose hair, I mean, unless they come out, you have to trim them. Don't just pluck them away. They are very important. They act like your filter. They will filter all these whatever dirty stuff that's in your air. Okay, for example, dust, pollen grain, mainly dust. Okay, mainly dust. This is why when you go to a very dusty area, okay, your nose gets very dirty and you will start to have booger, pasty. So you have booger forming there because those are dust. All right, so that's your nostril. Okay, your nostril, you're breathing, you breathe in air through your nostril. And when it comes down to your throat, okay, you have something called larynx. Okay, this part, should you memorize it? I'm not too concerned about this. Okay, what is your larynx? Larynx is your voice box. Okay, so can you see this Adam's apple? Okay, only guys have this. It's the Adam's apple. Okay, so Joel, I don't think you have it unless you're a guy lah. Okay, so this is your larynx. So what's the function of this? This is to vibrate, as the name says, is a voice box, is to create your voice. All right, so this is the place where it allows you to talk and sing, okay, to make any sound from the voice box. So, okay, so voice box, a guy's voice box and a girl's voice box is very different. Okay, a guy's voice box is very thick, okay, very big. That's why our voice is deeper. Okay, a girl's voice box, okay, like you, your voice box is very small, and that's why you talk a little bit high pitch. Okay, that's why girls' voice, they are very mellow and soft, whereas a guy's voice is usually very harsh and thick and deep. So what makes the difference? Okay, why is it like this? This is because of hormones. Okay, hormones. Guys, we have male hormones. Okay, the male hormones, they cause us to thicken our voice. That's why we have this manly deep voice. Okay, I'm sure girls you find deep voice attractive. You think deep voice. I have never heard girls who don't like deep voice lah. Deep voice is sexy. Okay, this is what girls always say, right? Okay, they want their next time their partner to have this deep, sexy voice. Okay, because deep voice is sexy. It's a sign of manliness. Okay, because thick voice means you have a lot of male hormone, whereas guys, we want a girl to have a soft and cute voice because it's a sign of you having your female hormone. So this is why there's a difference. Okay, I'm sure your dad talks in a very deep voice. Okay, because most guys do. So this is your larynx. Okay, your voice box. Okay, coming down. Okay, this is where it starts to get important. Okay, these 4 parts, you should memorize it. Oh, they only draw 3 here. There's actually one more. I think it's too small lah. Okay, anyway, so you can add one more here. This is your alveolus. Okay, alveolus. You add one more there. Of course, it's not as big as this. Okay, they didn't add this here because alveolus is too small. Okay, your alveolus is this. I'll talk about this later. Okay, I know this looks disgusting. Okay, I'll talk about this later. Anyway, so when your air enters your throat down, first it passes through the windpipe. Okay, windpipe. Windpipe is here. Okay, windpipe is all the way down to your lungs. So this is your windpipe. Or the scientific name for it is trachea. Okay, trachea. I like to call it trachea. I don't like to call it windpipe because windpipe is for people who don't study science. Okay, we call it trachea, not windpipe. I mean, you want to say windpipe, can, no problem. But the proper way is trachea. Okay, so that's your trachea. And then your trachea branches into 2 branches. It separates into 2 branches. So these 2 branches, they are called bronchus. Can you see it sounds like branches? Okay, branches, bronchus. Even the number of alphabet is the same. So branches, bronchus. So we call it bronchus. So you have 2 bronchus here. Okay, you have 2 bronchus here. Why do we have 2? One is going to the left and one is going to the right lah. Okay, so 2 bronchus here. And then these, okay, if you look at a tree, it has a main trunk, right? And the main trunk will separate into maybe 2, and then 2 separates into more. So now these bronchus, they will separate into even more smaller branches. We call it bronchiole. So bronchiole, they are small branches. Okay, because the word eole, eole means small. Okay, eole means small. So bronchus means branches. Bronchiole, eole is small, right? So bronchiole means small branches. Small bronchus. Small bronchus. So bronchus is the big one. Bronchiole is the smaller ones. Okay, so they will keep branching. You must say, sir, why do we need so many branches? Because you see, can you see our lungs and trees they look kind of same. Okay, your tree has a main trunk, and then your tree has many branches, and then at the end of every branch, you have leaves. Okay, you have leaves, right? Green color leaves. So same thing. At the end of every bronchiole, you have tiny, tiny bubbles. Okay, all these bubbles, we call it alveolus. Okay, so what is the function of this alveolus? I think I showed you this just now. This is an alveolus. Okay, this is an alveolus. Can you see they are like the final station already? Once air they reach alveolus, they have nowhere to go. Okay, this is the final station. They have to get up to the bus or let someone get down from the bus. So this is the final station. You see, they have nowhere to go. So they would, for oxygen, they will jump into the blood. For carbon dioxide, they will jump out into the air and then they will go out during when you exhale. So can you see, this is your alveolus. Okay, your alveolus. This is one alveolus. One alveolus. So how many alveolus do you have? Many. It's like asking you, how many leaves does a tree have? Okay, if you go outside your house, you look at a big tree, you try and count how many leaves on there. Impossible. Okay, our alveolus is even more than that. More, much more. Okay, how many alveolus do we have? We have a few millions. Millions. I don't think your tree has a few million leaves. Maybe a few thousand, yes. Maybe 10,000, yes. But not millions. We definitely have millions. Now, can you see this? This is actually inside your lung. Can you see every tiny holes? Every tiny holes, they are your alveolus. So you try and count this. Impossible, isn't it? It's like counting holes in a sponge. So basically, your lung is a sponge. Okay, a sponge is to absorb water. Your sponge is to absorb gas. So they are kind of same, right? So I'm sure you can get what I'm trying to say here now. So that's your alveolus. So this is the final station. Okay, fun fact. Okay, fun fact. How big is our alveolus? What's the total surface area of our alveolus? Okay, we know that alveolus is very small. Okay, but don't underestimate this thing. Yes, it's very small. You might say, sir, so small, got use, man. Okay, but here's the thing. When you add up all the alveolus, it becomes a very big area. It's just like your intestine. Okay, your intestine, they are just folding. It might not look very long to you, but your intestine is 8 meters. Okay, your intestine is 8 meters. How long is 8 meters? 8 meters is almost 3 stories high. That means if I were to hang your intestine, they can go from the 3rd floor to the ground floor. That's how long it is. So your alveolus is the same thing. If you open every alveolus, okay, I don't say open lah. If you add up all the surface area of the alveolus, we know that every alveolus is very small, but you add every area up. Do you know what's the total area, total surface area of alveolus? Okay, your total surface area of alveolus, okay, is the same as a tennis court. Do you know how big a tennis court is? Okay, that means one big tennis court, your alveolus when you open every one of it, you add all the areas up, it's going to be the same as a tennis court. That means you have a tennis court inside your lungs. That big of an area. Okay, so you might say, so there's only one is so small. Yeah, sure, they are very small, but they have millions of it. They are large in number. So when you add all the numbers up, it becomes something. Okay, so you have one big what do you call it, tennis court of an area of alveolus inside your lungs. Amazing, isn't it? Okay, this is why your lungs, they are very good at what they do. Okay, they are very good in getting oxygen. They are very good in throwing carbon dioxide because they are full of areas. Okay, they have all these, they have such a large area to do whatever you want to do, right? Okay, so okay, that's your alveolus. Okay, so these 4 parts they are the main point. These 4 parts, they are the main pathway of your air. Okay, that means air, they will enter here. Okay, they will pass through your trachea, your windpipe. They will pass through your bronchus. They will pass through your bronchiole, and then they will enter your alveolus. That's the pathway of your air. All right. So let's look at other parts. Okay, sir, why are they different parts here? Okay, these parts air does not pass through them. Okay, air does not pass through them. They are just there to kind of help breathing. Okay, to kind of help breathing. Okay, so number 1, what is chest wall? I don't like this word. Okay, I don't really recommend you learning this. It's not important. Okay, so what is the ribs? Rib is the bones. Okay, rib are the bones here. Okay, so when you press here, if you're skinny enough, when you press here, okay, like, you don't need to be very skinny lah. You press here, you can feel these bones, right? Okay, at least when I punch you, oh, okay, when I punch you, I don't punch straight into your lungs. There's a frame protecting your lungs. So those are the ribs lah. Okay, so those are the ribs lah. And then can you see the ribs? They are the bones. And then between your ribs, okay, between your ribs, they're actually your muscle. Okay, between your ribs there is a type of muscle called intercostal muscle. Okay, you can write this down. This is extra info for you. Okay, intercostal muscle. Okay, have you eaten lamb ribs before? Okay, so you know people eat ribs, right? Okay, like for example, lamb ribs. So when you eat lamb ribs, do you know what you are eating? You are basically eating the muscles between there. Okay, can you see bones? Basically, you are eating the muscle that moves their lungs. You are eating the muscle between the ribs. Okay, which is here lah. So when you're eating lamb ribs, you're eating here. Okay, these muscles, they help you breathe in and out. Okay, we'll talk about it later. Okay, so when you breathe, can you see your chest moving? Can you feel your chest moving when you breathe? When you breathe, you see your chest is moving because the muscles, okay, your intercostal muscle, they move your ribs to help you breathe. All right, so this is your muscle and your ribs. Okay, they work together, and of course you have a lung lah. Okay, you have your right lung and the left lung. Okay, and of course, what is this? This is the diaphragm. Okay, this is the diaphragm. Okay, this diaphragm is also another muscle. Okay, it's also another muscle. Okay, you might say, sir, why do we need two muscles here? Why do we need two muscles? Because you see, these four parts, they cannot move. They cannot move. They are just pathway. That means air, they will go into your windpipe, they will go into your bronchus, they go to your bronchiole, they go to your alveolus. But can they move? No. That means these are just roads. Okay, they are just pipes for the air to pass through. They cannot force air out or draw air in. So who does that? If you want to breathe in and out, they are not moving. There's only two muscles that you can move when you are breathing. That's your intercostal muscle and your diaphragm. So these two muscles, they are the only thing moving while you are breathing. Okay, that means when you are breathing in, when you're breathing out, these two muscles, they will push and move everything. These four, none of them can move. That means if you don't have these two, you only have these four, your lung will not work because they cannot move. Okay, these are just the pipes. So your muscle, okay, and your diaphragm. Okay, this funny thing about this diaphragm, okay, where's your diaphragm, by the way? Your diaphragm is here. Okay, at the bottom of your ribs. Roughly around your, okay, can you press the last part of a rib? Okay, you have ribs here, right? All the bones here, right? Okay, around here, okay, roughly around your stomach here, that's the diaphragm. Okay, that's the diaphragm. So when you are breathing, this diaphragm will move. Okay, when your diaphragm pushes up, you breathe out. When your diaphragm pulls in, you breathe in. Okay, so your diaphragm will work like this. Okay, breathe out, breathe in. Okay, push air, pull air. Okay, breathe out is to push air out, right? Push air, and then breathe in is to pull air. Pull air in. So you see your diaphragm works like this. Okay, your diaphragm works like this. So this diaphragm is very important because if your diaphragm stops moving, if your diaphragm stops, this is the main muscle. If your diaphragm stops moving, this thing, your breathing will stop. That's how important they are. Okay, do you know, fun fact, okay, do you know, this diaphragm, sometimes they can cramp. Okay, sometimes they can cramp. Not to say cramp, they will twitch. You know, it's twitching. You know, it's twitching. Sometimes your muscle twitch, your muscle will just move by itself. It will just, without you controlling, they will just move. Okay, so same thing. Your diaphragm, because it's a muscle, right? Muscles, they can get cramp and twitch. So same thing. Your diaphragm, sometimes they will get cramp and they will twitch also. So when your diaphragm starts twitching, okay, your diaphragm will do this. Okay, they will start jumping around. So how does it affect us? you will start to notice yourself doing this. Now, what is this? This is hiccup. Okay, so what happens when you hiccup? Hiccup is when your diaphragm, for some reason, they are cramping and they are twitching. Okay, it could be anything. It could be anything. For some random reason, they will just happen. So how do you stop hiccup? I'm sure you have heard of all these methods lah. Drinking water lah, getting scared by someone lah. What else? Holding your breath lah. What else? Many things. Okay, so you see, how do these methods help? When you are holding your breath, when you're not breathing, you're stopping your diaphragm. Okay, when you hold your breath, your diaphragm doesn't move. So maybe this method, maybe hopefully it will stop your diaphragm from cramping. So this is why holding breathing helps. Okay, getting scared, I don't really believe in this method, because the theory is if I scare you, suddenly you go, you will draw in more air. So hopefully when you push this diaphragm a bit more down, maybe you can kind of reset them. But this is just theory. Okay, never have I heard that getting scared will help with hiccuping. I don't know. Drinking water is what I've been told since I was a kid. Okay, when I was like around 5 to 6 years old, when I just hiccup, my mom would just keep asking me to drink water, because she said when you drink water, hiccup will stop. Okay, is it true? No. Okay, because you see, when you drink water, okay, the theory behind this is because you see, your esophagus is here, okay, and your stomach is here. So maybe they believe, if your stomach is here, if you drink water, if your stomach is full, maybe they will push on the diaphragm and you reset them. You kind of make the hiccup go away. But imagine the amount of water you have to drink to stop your hiccup, which can get really annoying. Okay, I don't know lah. It doesn't work for me. Okay, I just think it's stupid. You will just be sitting there drinking bottles and bottles of water, but your hiccup is still there. Okay, so the most, I would say, what can you do about hiccup? Just leave it there lah. Your hiccup will eventually go away, right? Because hiccuping is your muscle cramping. Muscle cramp will eventually just go away by themselves, right? Okay, do you get muscle cramp and muscle twitching like the rest of your life? No, you just leave them. Okay, they will be fine on their own. Okay, it's just that it's very annoying. That's all. All right, anyway, so let's look at the point, shall we? So air enters our body through the nose. Okay, so air enters here. So hair found in the nose is used to trap foreign particles like dust, bacteria that may enter our respiratory system. So like I said, breathe through your nose. Don't use your mouth. Your mouth has no hair. Your nose has hair. So the hair will filter your air. Okay, so it filter whatever lah. They will filter your dust. They will filter your bacteria. They might even filter your pollen grain from your flower. And then our nose epithelial cells, okay, the inner lining, which is here, okay, the inner lining, produce a sticky fluid called mucus. Okay, inside your nose is actually wet. Your nose inside is covered by a layer of green color mucus. Okay, it's not green, it's actually clear color, but let's just use green. Okay, they are covered by a layer of mucus. So what is this mucus? What is this mucus doing here? The mucus is sticky. Number one, it moistens our smell receptor. Mucus moistens our smell receptor. Okay, where is your smell receptor? Your smell receptor is here. Okay, here. You have many. Okay, so this smell receptor, they will send a signal to your brain. Okay, that means whatever you smell, these sensors, they will pick up the signal. Okay, let's say now you smell okay, satay, for example. Okay, like if you're a big fan of satay, oh, you smell satay, you start to salivate already. So how do you know it's satay? Because the satay smell will go into your nose. Okay, they will stimulate your smell receptor. So your smell receptor will send a signal to your brain. So now your brain knows that what you are smelling. All right, so as you can see, this sensor here, they are covered with mucus. Why? because only when they are wet, only they work. That means if your smell receptor is dry, you cannot smell anything. Right? So, for example, if you go to a very cold place, when you are in a very cold place, for example, if you're in a very cold room, you don't really smell that well. This is why cold food, they don't smell well. Okay? For Chinese, we don't eat cold food because cold food, they don't smell very nice. But when you reheat the food or when you eat any hot and fresh food, oh, it smells very nice because hot food, they are wet. Okay? Cold food, they are dry. So when they are dry, when your nose is dry, you don't really smell that well. Okay, so this mucus is very important. Okay, so mucus moistens our smell receptor, enables us to smell. And of course, most importantly, since this mucus is sticky, right? They will trap more foreign particles. You see, this is, okay, a wet surface traps more dirt compared to a dry surface. Okay, for example, if you have a filter, okay, let's just say a piece of cloth. Okay, if your table is dirty now, which do you think can wipe your table cleaner, wet or dry cloth? You don't need me to explain, right? Of course, you will wet your cloth first, only you wipe your table. Because wet cloth, they can trap more dirt. So this is why your nose inside needs to be wet by this mucus. Okay, wet by this mucus. So this mucus, they have two functions. One is to make your smell receptor wet so that they can work. Number two is to trap foreign particles. So you see, you have your nose hair and you have your mucus. Both of these, they are filtered. So by the time your air enters your trachea, they are almost 99% clean. Almost. Okay, almost clean. Okay, this is why most of the dirt will be trapped here. Okay, most of the dirt will be trapped here. So this is why when you go to a very dusty place, let's say the air is full of dust, you will produce more mucus to try to trap more dust. So this is why when you are at a very dusty place, you start to have more mucus. You start to feel like flu. Okay, so what happens during flu? You see, during flu, when you have runny nose, it's because you have too many virus here. Okay, so many virus here. So how does your body try to trap and get rid of this virus? So they produce more mucus lah. Okay, so when you are having flu, this place will be full of mucus. Okay, full of mucus because they are trying to trap the virus to a point that smell cannot reach your receptor. Okay, that means just now when your nose here is empty, the smell can come in and stimulate your smell receptor. But now your nose inside here is full of mucus because you have runny nose, so the smell cannot reach your receptor. This is why when you have flu, you don't smell very well because your nose is fully blocked by this mucus, which can get really annoying. Okay, you cannot smell anything. Okay, even eating, when you are eating during flu, food tastes bland. Okay, your food just tastes meh. Right? Even if it is your favorite food, something really strong flavored like nasi lemak. Okay, nasi lemak has very strong flavor. Okay, the rice is what was it? Coconut milk. Okay, the sambal is full of spices, and then you have your anchovies and peanut. Okay, sometimes even have rendang chicken. All these are made by very strong spices, but during your flu, they only taste okay. They are like, not so nice. Okay, it's not as nice as normally because your smell doesn't work. Okay, because when you are eating, not only your taste is working, your smell is working too. They work together. So if you take one away, your food is gonna taste lame. Okay, lame. It's like, it's not as nice as usual. Yeah, so that's the reason. So I have a fun fact here. Okay, so this is what I said just now. So when we suffer from flu, okay, runny nose our nose lining produces too much of mucus. Okay, too much. Your nose is inside all mucus. This makes breathing and smelling difficult as the mucus is blocking the air passage. Fully blocked. So air cannot go in. That's why if you have very runny nose during flu, even breathing becomes very difficult. Breathing becomes very tiring. Okay, sometimes you even have to breathe using your mouth. If your nose are fully blocked, which can get really annoying. Okay, trust me, I hate flu. All right, anyway, so like I said, this mucus can get very annoying when you have flu, but hey, they're just trying to protect you. Okay, they're just trying to trap bacteria and make you healthier tomorrow. Okay, it's just your body doing its job. Okay, don't curse at them. Don't curse at your body. The mucus is just, doing their job to help you survive. All right. Anyway, so air then enters our trachea, which is the windpipe. Okay, so they will enter here. Now is the windpipe ready. So, fun fact. Our trachea is supported by rings of cartilage. Okay, what is cartilage? Cartilage is a soft and rubbery tissue, or I like to call it soft bone. Okay, what is soft bone? Okay, your nose is cartilage. Okay, that's why your nose is like, can you see your nose is soft? Okay, your ear is cartilage. That's why your ear is hard, but it's soft. Okay, so your trachea, they are actually supported by this C-ring. Okay, they are supported by these rings. So what's the function of these rings? This is to prevent it from collapsing during breathing. Okay, to stop it from collapsing. Because you see, your trachea is actually soft. This thing is soft like 鸡肠饭, you know 鸡肠饭. This thing is really, really, really soft. So the last thing I want it to happen is for it to close. If my trachea suddenly closes, I will run out of breath. Okay, sorry, not run out of breath. I will choke. Okay, I will choke and I would just not get oxygen. So imagine that. So I don't want this to close. I don't want this 鸡肠饭 to suddenly close. I want it to be open. That's why they are supported by this C-ring to keep them open at all times. All times, I don't want it to close. All right. So in fact, your C-ring is all the way until the bronchus. Even your bronchus has C-ring too. So your bronchus is in your trachea and in your C-ring to stretch them open so that you can breathe normally, so that there's no traffic jam here. So this thing doesn't just for no reason closes because you will choke. Okay, then of course you don't want that to happen, right? So anyway, so similar to the nose, the trachea has epithelial cell that also produce mucus. It also has cilia to filter the air. Okay, do you know your trachea actually looks like this? The lining of a trachea. Okay, so just now I said your nose inside has mucus, right? Same thing. Your trachea inside also got mucus. All right, and then your nose inside has hair, right? Your trachea also has hair, but the hair is tiny. You see your nose hair, you can see it because your nose hair is very long. But the trachea hair is really, really small. How small? This is a cell. They are smaller than a cell. Okay, so they have microscopic hair. Very, very small hair that you cannot see with your eye. Why? Again, this is to filter your air. So you see, you have filter all along the way. You have filter in your nose, okay, which is the nose hair, okay, and your mucus. And you have filter in your trachea, which is the microscopic hair called cilia, and you have mucus here too. So along the way of your breathing system, okay, your respiratory system, you actually have a filter built in. Amazing, isn't it? Okay, this is why your air entering your lungs, they are supposed to be clean. Suppose unless you live in a very bad environment. Let's say you live next to a factory, then of course that's a bad thing or you live nearby somewhere that keeps burning rubbish, then of course that's a bad thing. But if you live in somewhere reasonably clean, okay, you live and around your house you have trees, the air you breathe in should be clean and healthy. Okay, unless your house has something dirty going on, you didn't clean your house for 3 years and your house is full of dust, then it's a different story. But as long as you keep your house reasonably clean, okay, so the air you breathe in should be clean. All right, so that's your trachea. So this is your filter, and this filter, this hair up there, there's a layer of mucus. This green color mucus is on there. You see, your body is amazing. Okay, it has hair and it has mucus to filter. All right, so next, the trachea then branches into two passageway, which is the bronchus. Okay, so bronchus branches. okay, which is these two lah. And then the bronchus will further branch into smaller branches, which is called bronchiole, right? So each bronchus branches into many smaller bronchiole. Okay, so fun fact about this bronchiole. Okay, so just now I said your windpipe, your trachea has C-ring, right? Okay, and then your bronchiole has C-ring also, right? Okay, but you see your bronchiole, the smaller branch, they have no C-ring. They have no C-ring. Okay, this is a problem. You see, since they are so small, they cannot have the C-ring. So this bronchiole, sometimes they can collapse. Okay, they can collapse. Some people they are born with bronchioles that will collapse. So when they collapse, okay, when they collapse, you will suddenly run out of air. Okay, you will suddenly get shortness of breath, like shortness of breath, because one part of your lungs, because this is just a small branch, maybe it will lead to like 200 alveolus. Okay, so this bunch of alveolus, okay, let's say this pipe collapse, this bronchiole collapse, maybe at the end 200 alveolus here cannot get oxygen. Okay, so this condition, when the bronchiole collapse, this condition is called asthma. Asthma. Okay, so people born with asthma, why would they suddenly get asthma attack? Because suddenly the bronchiole will just collapse. Okay, why? Because some people, they are born with weak bronchiole for some reason. Okay, so asthma is a born thing. You cannot do anything about it. So what do? So this is why people with asthma, they will always carry an inhaler with them, right? The thing that go like that, then they will feel fine. So what is that medicine inside the inhaler? Inside the inhaler, okay, this is fun fact. If you have a friend who has asthma, maybe you can relate to this, okay? Or if you have asthma, so inhaler inside has something called bronchodilator. What is this? This is a medicine. Can you see broncho? Broncho is the bronchiole. Dilate is to relax. So this medicine, when you inhale it in, they will relax your bronchiole. When your bronchiole relax, they will open. When they open, now you feel normal already. So this is why people with asthma, they have to carry this thing always. When there's an asthma attack, when the bronchiole suddenly closes, sometimes it's not only just one bronchiole, it could be 5 or 10 or multiple bronchiole, they will just close at the same time. So they need to inhale this, ask the bronchiole to chill. Guys, you need to chill, please open. So when they open, now you can breathe again. So how do you strengthen this bronchiole? How do you strengthen this? If you have asthma when you are young, how do you strengthen this? Very easy, exercise lah. Exercise. If you exercise more, this bronchiole will eventually get stronger. And sometimes you might even get rid of asthma. Right, so this is why I'm not sure whether you've heard of this before. I actually have a few friends when they were young, they have asthma. And then when they joined the swimming team, when they started swimming, okay, they started doing exercise. And when they grow up, like when they are in teenage years, suddenly the asthma is just gone. Okay, why? Because the bronchiole, they got stronger, they don't collapse anymore. So if you are born healthy, you don't have any asthma, that means your bronchiole is normal. I don't have asthma, my bronchiole is normal. Okay, so I don't need this inhaler. But for people who do, somehow they're just born with weak bronchiole. They cannot do anything about it. This is just genetic. All right, so at the end of every bronchiole, there are many bubble-like structures called alveoli, which is this. So if you zoom into your alveoli, it looks like this. It looks like bubbles. And yes, I know it looks disgusting, okay? For me, this is disgusting. Okay, so this is every tiny dots here. Okay, so if you try to count how many holes here, millions, you cannot count. So this is this. Okay, and this is this. This is one alveoli. Sorry, one alveolus. Alveolus is the singular. Alveoli is the plural. This is one. Okay, this is many. Okay, and this is millions. So how many you have? Of course, I can't count. Okay, there are so many of them. So The alveoli are where gaseous exchange happens. Okay, like I said just now, this is where you exchange your gas. Okay, where you take in your oxygen and you throw out your carbon dioxide. Okay, so I believe we have finished all the parts today. Okay, so you know what, our time is almost up. For the breathing process, you know what, inhalation and exhalation, I will continue this next week lah. All right, so I hope you learned something new today. Okay, really interesting stuff. Maybe you have learned this in your school already. Okay, so I shall continue with this next week lah. Okay, so thanks for coming. Have a happy Tuesday. Good night. I will see you next week. So see you. Bye bye.